What'd you say to Shilo Sanders after that ejection?
Well, you know you can't throw punches in this league. I mean, that's inexcusable. They're gonna get you every time. Got to grow from that.
And then what did you say to the officials after that? It looked like you were possibly trying to argue with
We're
them.
talking about another play.
You know, when all this initially started, one of the comparisons that I made is when Travis Kelce got into it with one of his own teammates, a bunch of his teammates actually, during the Chiefs practice. And a lot of people started getting in my comment section going, Brody, are you really comparing a Hall of Fame talent to an undrafted rookie? Well, if that's the case, then what we're no longer discussing then is morale. What we are talking about is talent level. Because if we're going to talk about talent level being the metric for how we deal with people in these situations, then morality absolutely leaves the discussion. And so I don't want to hear the morale opinion. And when it comes to Travis Kelce himself, you've literally added nothing to him. Therefore, you've added nothing to the discussion because you've said something that everybody who watches football knows. And that is Travis Kelce is a first ballot Hall of Famer. What I asked was, hey, where do we draw the line then? Is it the Hall of Fame player, the great player, the mediocre player, the bad player? Where do we draw the line for the morality clause in what we do and don't deal with at this level in sports? Because the treatment isn't fair. I'm talking about two individuals getting different treatment. And it is the same situation. I've had people going, it's practice, it's practice. If it's practice, then it really should be bad if you ask me, because I don't want to hear about brothers fight brothers. What happened to is just sports, and sometimes things like that happen. You know, when it's somebody else getting upset, it's they're just passionate about the game. When it's another individual getting upset, it's they don't want to win, they don't want to play ball, they're out of control. This was not an isolated incident. Does anybody remember when he got into it with Desmond King? He's got into it with referees, other players, his own football coach, Andy Reid. He shoved him. Look, I would say if I felt like Shilo or Shador was getting a fair shake. I've said over and over again that it's been blown out of proportion whether or not a player got a fair shake. First of all, I didn't think Justin Fields was going to cut the mustard in the NFL to begin with. And I think what happened at Chicago was perfectly fine. But I don't agree with them drafting Caleb Williams because I didn't think Caleb Williams was the best quarterback coming out of that draft. I thought it was Jaden Daniels. What I am telling you is, if I thought it was an issue to where, look, man, they've had their shot and they blew it, I would say that. But the treatment is different. The play calling is completely different when Shador's in the football game. The offensive linemen that are in front of him, it is a completely different rotation when he is in the game. He didn't get a chance for a 2-minute drill. Why are former quarterbacks and wide receivers that played at the highest level in the NFL, like, I don't know, Ocho Cinco, stepping in and going, this is a thing? Rewatch the first time Colorado played Colorado State with Coach Prime as the head coach. It is absolutely 110% a headhunting football game. When Shilo took that thing back to the rack for 6, he was 7 yards deep in the end zone when he got pushed into the goalpost. But you'll tell me that's just football, right? So many people in my comment section when that whole thing went down were telling me that's just how things are handled. It's football. Stop being a sissy. Grow up. Get off Prime's jock. Oh, but when this happens, oh, that's not football, man. You don't understand. You don't get the difference, man. I don't? What am I not seeing? Show me logically what I'm not seeing, because Shador had about a second and a half to throw the football on average. Then he didn't even let him in for the 2-minute drill just to see what he would do, knowing that in college, he did the 2-minute drill very well at the end of half and in the game. People were talking about him patting the ball. So what? Big deal. John Elway did too. John Elway's a Hall of Fame quarterback. Go look at John Elway's first season and tell me he looked like a Hall of Fame quarterback. I am asking for a very simple thing, and that is all the treatment of everybody be the same when it comes to these situations. When you're going to put Dylan Gabriel in there and you're going to run that particular offense, that's fine. Just do the same thing with Shador and see how it looks. If that's the offense that you want to run and Shador can't run it, then that's one thing. But when Shador and Dylan ran the same play, Dylan threw a pick and Shador threw a touchdown. One of the few times that you actually did it. This is what preseason is supposed to be for. Isn't that what Aaron said? He was asked, don't you want to worry about timing and all that stuff? And he just shook his head. Oh, no. Preseason's for the rookies trying to make a name for themselves. Well, this is it, bro. I'm fed up with the bullies defending the bullies and the bullies getting away with being a bully. That's what I'm sick of. And that's exactly what this is. I'm Drew Duncan. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all Drew Duncan Radio. Stay safe, take care of yourselves, and have a wonderful rest of your night and or day.